History. We're back with a special edition of Out Front, live from the debate site here at Hofstra University, just outside New York City, which of course is the home base of both of the nominees. It is local for both of them tonight. Senator Bernie Sanders is the last person who debated Hillary Clinton, and he joins us now from Vermont. And Senator, thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure.
You know what it is like to stand on a debate stage with Hillary Clinton one-on-one. What do you say? What was the hardest part about debating her?
Well, I think the hardest part is understanding that despite what the media may think, this is not a night of entertainment. It's not a Super Bowl. It's not the World Series. Tonight, the American people are going to be looking at somebody who will have enormous power in influencing the direction of our country, 320 million people, and the rest of the world. And I hope that we focus on the issues, the differences between the candidates. One candidate, for example, Donald Trump, wants to give hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks to billionaires, the wealthiest people in this country. Is that really a good policy for working families? Donald Trump does not believe that climate change is real. He thinks it's a hoax, despite what the entire scientific community says. Is that a very good approach for the future of this planet and for the lives of our kids and our grandchildren? Donald Trump will appoint another conservative, he said, to the Supreme Court, which means that Citizens United, the disastrous Supreme Court decisions that allow billionaires like Sheldon Adelson and the Koch brothers to buy elections and undermine American democracy, that will continue. So Hillary Clinton wants to overturn Citizens United. So I think what we have to do is focus on the issues and not see tonight as an entertainment show.
All right. Now, you did say recently, though, you had some criticism for Secretary Clinton on one thing, and perhaps it's related to what you're talking about now, Senator. You said she needs to, in your words, get away from all of this personality stuff and, in your words, start talking about the real issues, which actually sounds like what you were just saying there, your frustration. What did you mean when you said this personality stuff?
Well, that's what media does. They make this. What kind of shoes will Donald Trump be wearing? Who is he huddling with right now? How is his hair going to look tonight?
Right, but you had this criticism of her.
Outfit will...
This was a criticism of her.
No, it's not a criticism. It's a criticism of the media. Let's talk about which candidate is going to be better for working families. Now, I know in my state and all over this country, you got millions of people trying to make it a $9, $10, $11 an hour. I think Hillary Clinton thinks we need to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. That's not Donald Trump's position. I believe that as a nation, we have struggled for a long time to overcome bigotry and racism. Donald Trump is making the cornerstone of his campaign, in fact, bigotry, dividing us up, Latinos and blacks and Muslims, trying to divide our nation up. I don't think that that's good for the future of this country. So my hope is that we can focus tonight and in the future on the differences of opinions, very real differences between the two candidates. And when we do that, I think most people will perceive that Clinton is the superior candidate.
As you know, though, Senator, appearance and style matter a lot in a debate, right? It's not just the ideas, it's the art of it.
No, I don't know that.
Not necessarily entertainment.
Let me just say this. Let me just say this, because in all due respect, I disagree with you. When I debated Clinton, it was a very interesting phenomenon. Most of the time, not all of the time, the media seemed to think that Clinton looked more presidential, and she, quote unquote, won the debate. But you know what? You go online, we did much better because people listened to what I had to say. So I do not agree that style and looks and how you comb your hair is what the important issue is. I believe that it is what the candidate thinks. I'm sorry.
So let me ask you, though, on one thing. But I just want to ask you on one thing, because in terms of the style, Hillary Clinton obviously is the first woman to ever be on the stage like we're going to see tonight. And you obviously were debating her in that capacity as well. There was one time, as you remember, when you were talking about people shouting. And after that, she came back and said, that's how people talk about women, but not about men. And there was another time when she was talking and you kept saying, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And we're interrupting her. And people interpreted that as sexist. Is that something you think could happen to Donald Trump tonight?
I have no idea. I mean, I think what we look at is Hillary Clinton is a candidate for president of the United States. And I would hope that both of the candidates are respectful of each other. I don't believe that when I participated that I was rude. Others may disagree. But, you know, I would hope that there is a thoughtful, intelligent debate on the real issues facing the families, working families of America.
And a final question to you in terms of your advice. What is your final piece of advice to her tonight going up against Donald Trump?
I would simply say she doesn't need my advice. She does these things very well and has a lot of experience in them. She understands that she's up against an entertainer. Donald Trump is an excellent entertainer. He's had successful TV shows, and that's his campaign. It's entertainment. I would say that in contrast, what she has got to do is focus on the real issues. Stay focused on the issues impacting the American people. How do we raise the minimum wage to a living wage? How do we get pay equity for women? How do we make colleges? She has a proposal that would provide free tuition at public colleges and universities for any family making less than $125,000. That's a big deal. Stay on message. Keep talking about what impacts the average American.
All right, Senator Sanders, thank you very much for your time tonight. And next, Donald Trump's poll comeback. He has been rising in the polls, and the race for the White House tonight is now in a formal dead heat.
Wolf, what we are seeing is just remarkable as we get ready for this first very consequential presidential debate. Look at the map of 2012. This is the Obama-Romney race. Now, if you're Donald Trump, the only way to win is to turn several of the blue states red, right? He has to take away wins that Obama had. If we looked at this map 5 weeks ago, I could not circle one blue state and tell you Donald Trump was ahead or in a tie. Here's the situation today. Let's use green for a minute. Donald Trump is ahead in Iowa. Donald Trump is a little bit ahead in Nevada. Let's switch colors. Donald Trump is either a little ahead or in a tie in battleground Ohio. He's keeping North Carolina, which is a red state for Romney last time. As you just noted, he's very competitive in Pennsylvania. It's a dead heat. He's very competitive, a dead heat in Florida. And he's now competitive out in Colorado, up 1 point in our poll, down a point or two if you average out all the polls. Look at that right there. 6 or 7 states that carried by Obama where Trump is now competitive. What does that mean? Still advantage Clinton, Wolf. We look at this map and we say if the election were held today, we believe Secretary Clinton would get at least 272 electoral votes. You need 270 to win the White House, but we need to watch this very closely now. We have Pennsylvania leading Democratic. Another poll or two showing a tight race. We might have to reconsider that. Let me show it to you this way. Let's assume Trump keeps that Nevada lead, can win Florida, can hold North Carolina, and can win Ohio. Look how close that would make this race, 272 to 264. At that point, a month ago, we were saying Donald Trump has so few paths, so few options. If he can get to 260, 264, Pennsylvania could do it. Michigan could do it. Even just Colorado could do it. So a month or so ago, Donald Trump had to draw to an inside straight. Now he has more menu options as he looks at the path to 270. Now, I just talked to Joel Benenson, the top strategist for the Clinton campaign. He disputes some of these state numbers, but he does acknowledge this is a much tighter race now than it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. How does Hillary Clinton counter this? Wolf, the most important thing for Secretary Clinton is to try to take a couple of the big prizes away from Donald Trump. If she can win North Carolina, for example, forget about it. Donald Trump can't get to the presidency. If she can hold Florida, 29 electoral votes, forget about it. So out of this first debate, they'll see how things go tonight. Then they'll go state by state, look for Clinton to spend a lot of time in North Carolina, to reinforce Pennsylvania, and to get out to Colorado to check a state they think they're going to win, but they're a little nervous, Anderson, because of these new poll numbers. No question. Very competitive going into tonight. The winner tonight has a different map tomorrow.
Very competitive indeed. John King, John, thanks very much. Let's talk to our panelists, Trump supporters, Clinton supporters as well. How pleased are you where Donald Trump is, and what do you attribute the fact that things have changed so much in some of these states for Donald Trump in the last 6 weeks?
Yeah, he really has improved here. One of the things, when you go back and look at other presidential elections, 1968, 1992 for Bill Clinton, events beyond the candidates doing, riots in 1968, both after Dr. King's assassination and at the Democratic Convention, Richard Nixon was running on a law and order theme. In 1992, the riots in Los Angeles seemed to play against President Bush, and then Governor Clinton was out there saying, I'm the one who cares. These riots happened because of Reagan-Bush budget cuts, etc. It fit the Clinton narrative. What we're seeing here, I think, with the terrorist attacks in New York, with the events in Charlotte, and I'm talking television pictures here, the images. And let's not forget the image of Secretary Clinton herself and her health scare there on September 11th. I do think those things make an impact on a watching electorate on television.
Van Jones, is that, you think, what's changed?
That's some of it, and frankly, Donald Trump stopped doing dumb stuff every day. Let's not forget.
Right, you got new management.
You got new management. I mean, he was slipping on a banana peel and marbles every day the whole summer. So he stopped doing that. That let some people get more comfortable with him. Hillary Clinton has got to not fall into a particular trap, though. She's so interested in stopping Donald Trump from dragging us backwards, she forgets to tell us how she's going to take us forward. She actually has plans. It's not just a personality thing. They both got bad personalities, according to a lot of people, but they have plans. If you look at her plans, she should talk about them more. Economists at Oxford looked at both their plans. They said Donald Trump's economic plan will cost us 3 million jobs. Hillary Clinton will get us 10 million. I want to hear her talk more about how she's going to take us forward. Most people got the memo that Trump will take us backward.
But here's the problem with Hillary Clinton when she talks about policy. Hillary Clinton is the embodiment of the status quo. I go back to an interview I saw in June where she was asked, what will you do that differs from what Obama has done for the economy? Her answer was, create more green jobs. That is not a viable answer to how you will change. How you,
I like that answer a lot.
To how you will change. And this is an electorate that really is craving change. A poll stuck out to me last week, the CBS Battleground poll of Battleground voters. 55% wanted big change and 43% wanted some change. That's 98% of voters saying they want some sort of change. And tonight on this debate stage, you're going to see the embodiment of change in Donald Trump and the embodiment of the status quo in Hillary Clinton.
Kelly's right in this regard. She has been, I think, afraid to make the case that we need change because it might offend Obama. I think the way that she can handle that is say, look, Obama got us out of the ditch. We are now ready for a takeoff, and I can take you someplace beyond where we were able to go. But she doesn't make that case. She sounds like she's for the status quo when she's not.
Mayor Nutter?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, Kelly says that having policy ideas is somehow representative of the status quo. This is a policy job. The job is to lay out a vision, lay out policies, and then implement them. That's what you do when you're an executive. So that's not the status quo. That is the job. That's what happens when you get elected to an executive job. You have policies, you have a vision, and then you implement.
But when your policies are a duplication of the administration's policies, that is in fact the status quo.
They're
Donald
nowhere
Trump
near a
has
duplication.
given novel
Nowhere
ideas,
near.
a novel economic plan, and that is what we're going to see tonight.
No,
is
he
change.
has ideas, he has no policies, and he has no plans.
We're
He
going
has
to
ideas.
We're going to take a break here. We're going to have more with our panelists. We're going to go inside the candidates' playbooks with two former presidential debate coaches. We'll also talk to the Republican vice presidential nominee, Mike Pence.